the red pyramid I've made a video on, and that thing is so eroded. I don't know what's happened to it. Is it older than any of these? I don't know. Or was it just built from a different type of concrete? More than likely, but it's so eroded you can't even make it out. But yeah, you can see how, you know, when you go check the images, you will see what I've been talking about. They're already there for you to check. So this is a corner, and you can see the huge pieces, because, you know, this is not the bottom, this is not the floor. We're talking about this is just the top tier of a huge building, structure, site, whatever it was. This is only the top structure, and I will try and point that out further for you. And when I talk about just how much bigger is this thing, all this area has been excavated, right, to a certain level. They won't go down much further. Right, look, if there was interested in excavating this site, it would have been done decades and decades ago. All this would have been cleared. It's the most revered site on earth. Do you think it would still look like this? Right? Think about it. Just think about that. But you can see how, you see that massive fall off there. You know, when I was showing you the shapes of the pyramids, yeah? I'm telling you, this thing is absolutely enormous. Like one piece, one huge piece of concrete. When I talk about solidified concrete, where the rebar was, as it's poured into a meshing, and obviously, yes, they will have been poured into a form lining. You will have had to have, you know, something like board, huge boards or something, which propped one side up so you could pour this stuff into, of course, but then it is actually poured into a meshing, okay. I forgot the name of this one, I didn't write it down, some of you will know, but you know, we can see this is not built on a hill. This is the shape of the pyramid, and it will go down much further, and it won't just be a site just with this one building on it. There will be, you know, on the bottom tiers there will be other buildings like there are in Mexico. But anyway, they've recently excavated it, haven't they? You know, everybody thought this was the actual size of the thing, and it's the same thing I'm going to point out. It turns out that it's much bigger. In even this level will not be the bottom. It will go down again, okay? You see this? Anyway, I don't want to get into what it was hit by. I've done that already. So this is outside, you know, the two main pyramids on Giza. And you can, you know, even on the flooring area outside, there were pieces which locked into position, so there must have been further blocks on here, or this stuff locked into place. But can you see these two round holes is where bars, rebar, and inner structure as this was made and poured into position for strength, right? You can see it's there. Right, this is the Great Pyramid, and you know, they've been excavating around it. That looks like a door where they've been walking into somewhere. This looks like, you know, the areas like, it's like this one here, and another big block will lock into place as you lay it down on top, you know, like the 4 squares I showed you. So it's obviously there's been far more removed than what first meets the eye, okay. This is an older image. This one has been covered up. That hole there, that big dark deep hole, has been covered up, right? So again, it obviously goes down further because you're looking at it. That's Giza, and look, they tell you, the information's there today, that there are 3 different levels like this. They call them like tunnels, underground tunnels, and they're obviously not tunnels. They're the streets and things like that, sewer systems of an entire city that's buried. But for those people that think that I go on sometimes about rebar, well, everything was built from rebar and forms. You know, when you're pouring concrete into forms like this, into a rebar meshing, because that's Stephen Mailer, who's, you know, part of the head of the chemist school in Egypt, who I used to follow, but he's completely ignoring this rebar inside this concrete. Well, because all this looks like, and obviously is, not beach sand, it's eroded concrete, which is what most of Egypt is, right? You can see it there, it's in that one there, it's in there, it's everywhere, which is what I've been pointing out in the last video, and ever since I've been doing this. This is the the top section above the so-called King's Chamber, and many of people have gone up here and they've never seen what I pointed out in a rebar video, and it's right there. I don't know what this thing was, if it's collapsed or what, but you can see the remnant, the imprint. I mean, it literally just looks like rusted. You know what you'd see in an old jail? That's what it looks like. Look at it, it's right there, and yet nobody can see it. Anyway, this is the cartouche of Khufu, what Egyptologists put forward as, you know, that this is the only evidence that Khufu constructed this thing. And how ridiculous is that? I mean, how easy to fake is this? Especially when it looks like someone's just fetched a bucket up here in the past, smothered it on with his fingers. You can see how you can see it there. I mean, you know how the Great Pyramid is built, but yet this wall has just been smothered on with fingers, and then someone's painted this stupid cartouche on, right? And that's why they won't let anybody take a little piece of this and analyze it and date it. They won't let you get near it in case anybody does. But it can't have been built in square blocks like they show you in films and stuff, because it, you know, from weathering, getting into all these little cracks, right? If they were all different sizes, because they would have been just carving them away in different teams from a quarry like they make out, it would have weathered away and been different sizes, and this supposed King's Chamber would have collapsed down within 10 years. So it would have to be built in the way that I've been talking about, which is like a waffle block type structure. And look, you can see rebar there, right? Now what you're looking at here is actually the most important image you will ever see about how the Great Pyramids were built. This image here, right? And what you're looking at is something absolutely mind-blowing, and the size of it, because look, just because that's got a line there, that's just where rebar has just eroded away, okay? These were just one huge single piece, right? You see how that's shaped like that? This was the end of a casing stone, because look, the casing wasn't a different material. These were the casing stones, right? But they were shaped at the end, it's just eroded away, right? But then another block came in here and was shaped around there and went down to buffers like that, both locked into place and went around here. You're talking about pieces about 25 by 25 foot in size. Yeah, you know, with the square holes like I'm going to show you, that locked into position from the side, and then blocks on top locked into them. This thing does not move and will not move, and why it's still standing. Yeah, you know, like this here. Yeah, you see these waffle blocks. I know that the child thinks, but I couldn't find any examples. Like, I just couldn't find anything, so I've put that in for you. Yeah, so imagine these laid down. You see these 4 holes, so you'll get them locking in from the top, and they're locking from the side that go in here and then round there. Yeah, these are all one single piece across the whole structure. It is absolutely spectacular, and it runs all the way up and all the way around. Watch the 2 videos that I made on it, all the way to the very top. This is the other one, you know, that's still got some of the surface on, and it's round here, right? Anyway, I think you understand what I'm getting at. But has this type of method been used anywhere else on the world? Well, not exactly, but maybe. Anyway, this is Tiwanaku, Pumapunku, and they're the what they call the H blocks. This is a site, I forgot where it is now, but you know, you can see that these are same type of thing, you know, where they will lock into place and won't move, but it's solidified limestone which used to be concrete. This is a close-up on these H blocks, which everybody has always called andesite, and it's not. You can clearly see, look at that, it's grey under there, and the reason why it cracks like that as it weathers away. Natural stone does not do that, does it? And when you look at it, it is blindingly obvious that it's concrete, right, that's been submerged in water, come to the surface, solidified, and then dried out. Take a close look at that when you go to my Google page. Obviously this is the Great Pyramid. Right, so you know the area in Mexico, I've just shown you where they have excavated down, and there's obviously more to it. Well, this is the Great Pyramid. Archaeologists, Egyptologists tell you that they carved this area out here, right, to lock blocks into place or something like that, but it's not. These are literally concrete blocks like this that just go further out and deeper, right? But this is just solidified lime that's ran out of all this concrete off these blocks with weather and been flooded, and it's just ran out on the floor and formed a hard surface over blocks that go down much deeper, right? Exactly the same way as this. This is the 9/11 site, the Twin Towers, you know, the huge hole in the car parking area, right, you know, that turned to dust. I'm not going to get into the obvious reasons why it didn't fall, but you can see when it hardens it forms, you know, like the stuff that I've shown you in like Peru. Yeah, it re-hardens again, extremely hard. That's Sacsayhuaman. I've shown you that area. That's limestone that's solidified in the exact same way. That's another site, I don't know where that is now.